All right, we're back to this thing that makes us feel a little more normal, talking about banned books, believe it or not. This is, as you know, one of the dearest parts of the show to us. And there are some books that become part of a larger story, a beginning, middle, end, and a message that exists off the page in the real world. This literary canon isn't any specific genre. There aren't awards requirements or writing style requisites. The titles aren't even household names in many cases. There's just one qualifier. They inspire change. Today's Velshi Banned Book Club feature, The Best at It by Malik Pancholi, is one such book. Members of the Velshi Banned Book Club will remember Pancholi and his story from a previous meeting. But today, in our first meeting since Election Day, it's an important one to revisit because the story of this author and this book resonates in a different and crucial way today. Let's start with the book itself. The Best at It, published in 2019, tells the story of a seventh grader named Rahul Kapoor. Rahul is one of the only gay Indian boys in his small Midwest middle school. He's got a best friend named Chelsea and a beloved grandfather, but when Rahul's grandfather gives him some advice to find what you're really good at and become the best at it, the preteen embarks on a journey of self-discovery and ultimately self-love. The Best at It is endearing, it's poignant, and it's unequivocally age-appropriate. And it's inspired by Pancholi's own real childhood. So this past spring, Pancholi was invited to Mountain View Middle School in central Pennsylvania to speak to students about his book and about bullying and inclusion. The community of about 9,000 people is nestled in Republican-leaning Cumberland County. It's about 2 hours west of Philadelphia. About a month before Pancholi was set to speak at the school, he learned through social media that the local school board had voted unanimously to cancel his event and disinvite him. Why? Concerns over Pancholi's, quote, lifestyle, end quote, which is a thinly veiled allusion to his sexual orientation. The outrage was swift. Faculty at Mountain View Middle School condemned the board's decision in a widely disseminated letter. One local parent started a petition to reinstate Pancholi's talk. It got nearly 10,000 signatures. Pancholi received an outpouring of love and support, and he rejoined us on the Velshi Banned Book Club. We do a lot of young adult stuff. We do a lot of literature. We've done Shakespeare. But kids' books that are getting banned, like, you must have written some terrible stuff in that book to get it banned, right?
Oh, yeah, it's really horrible. It's about finding yourself in middle school. It's about being comfortable with who you are as a human being. I actually love that someone at the school board actually referenced that there's empathy in the book.
Yeah.
Because that's what this book is about. It's
right.
about,
but they reference it as if it were a bad thing.
Yeah, right. Which is, I'm so glad that, and so much gratitude to the people on the ground in this community, to the mother, Trisha Comstock, by the way, if I can give you a shout out, who's been doing so much to advocate for all the young people there, who had the foresight to record this board meeting, who said, this is going in the wrong direction, and I want to record it.
All right, so they recorded it, got out, there was a petition, Malik came on the show, we talked about it, and 2 weeks after the initial vote, the school board held another meeting. Students, parents, and community members packed the high school auditorium and for more than 5 hours bravely demanded that Malik Pancholi be allowed to come and speak to their students. The school board voted 5-4 to reinstate Pancholi's talk, and a few weeks later, the event was held. This is a story about the power of community and how engaging with those with whom you disagree can actually make a big difference. Right after the break, I'll be joined by an important friend of the Velshi Banned Book Club, the actor, the activist, and the author, Malik Pancholi. Don't go anywhere. Today's meeting of the Velshi Banned Book Club is underway. I'm joined by a friend of the book club, Malik Pancholi, actor, activist, author of 2 books, including the former Velshi Banned Book Club feature and Stonewall Honor book, The Best at It, and Nikhil Out Loud. Malik, great to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
Let's just start with the obvious. The book banning problem is not close to over. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better, and Tuesday's election result did not help that cause.
Yeah, I think it's a tough time because I think the attack on books is probably going to get more challenging. I think that school boards might feel more empowered to pull books off shelves, that parents and communities who don't want books being shown to their kids might feel more emboldened to make those cases. I think that teachers and librarians have already had such a tough time, and now I think they might face even further threats and possible legislation just for handing a book to a kid. So I think there's, it's a challenging time for sure.
Which is why, when thinking about this in the context of the election, our first thought was, let's talk to Malik. Because something, we showed that conversation you and I last had. After that, you actually did that event. The school board voted again. They permitted you to come back. I want you to tell me what that looked like, because that, in theory, was you walking into a hostile environment, but it wasn't.
No, it was kind of incredible. We prepared myself and like my book agent and just sort of like the support of other authors in the community for what this might look like going to this school. We made sure that press had to stay further away, so it wasn't kind of this maelstrom of craziness on campus. And it wasn't that. It was like many other school visits. It was a little larger than most. I had 550 kids, I think, in each assembly, 3 different assemblies. So I got tired of talking, by the end of it. But I will say this, there were a handful of students, I think, who really needed to know that they were seen and cared for and that they could see themselves in books like the ones I had written. And there were a handful, I think, of faculty who felt very empowered by knowing that, like, hey, our school made this happen and maybe I don't have to hide so much and I can be who I am with my students. And then there were a lot of kids who were like, at the end of my very powerful, very moving presentation, were like, I have a question, what's your favorite color?
Right,
so just, like many other school visits.
Assortment of the kids who would attend something. But every author I speak to who writes a book, particularly about personal experience or about being seen, tells me it matters that one person was seen and that one person heard that story. You had 10,000 people sign a petition to have you come back. There were probably not 10,000 people in that county who had read the book.
That's right. I think that a lot of people from various districts came together, and I think, that's something that feels so important to me right now at this particular moment is the power of community, the power of people standing up for, honestly, our most vulnerable communities. And I think that while that school visit felt like a pretty normal school visit, all in all, there was also a rallying of a superintendent, a principal, school administrators that said, hey, we're going to take care of our students. And as you know, there was a school board meeting that happened, that was forced to happen after the initial cancellation, where 1,000 people is what I was told. I wasn't there, but 1,000 people showed up. And I think that what was most moving to me, because I watched that school board presentation, was teenagers getting up and stepping up to the mic and making their voices heard. And LGBTQ teenagers and trans teenagers. And we know trans people have been demonized to such a great extent in this election cycle. And we have real cause to be worried about their physical and mental well-being right now. And so to feel the support that they got in that moment, and then me being able to come to that school, I hope that's a marker for what we can do in this current moment.
Because it's not a small matter. I mean, one might say, hey, you can do this because you can do it in your community and you can have that sort of power, and that experience demonstrates that. But this is about book banning.
Right.
This is a major issue in the pursuit and preservation of democracy. This is not getting your trash picked up 2 times a week. This is actually about saving democracy.
Yeah, this is about intellectual freedom. It's about getting to know our histories. It's about not erasing full identities. As you said in your intro, these books are books, but they're my personal experience. So when someone says, hey, we don't want this story in our school, I was in a school. I was a middle schooler. Did I not deserve to exist in that school? And so that's, part of what we have to keep fighting the good fight for, is the right to exist, the right for young people to know that they belong in their communities.
Do you think, the board changed its vote. Was that because of political pressure, or do you think any minds were changed?
I don't know, and it's hard for me to speak to that because I'm not in touch with that school board. I imagine there was a mix of a lot of things, and I think talk about the power of journalism and you bringing the story to light. I think this small community didn't realize how much national attention, international attention, it was going to get. So I'm sure that had to play a part. But I would like to believe that after a 6-hour second convening,
that someone actually changed their mind.
Someone might have actually changed their mind.
This might be good for us. Right. And all you and I ask, and I'm just going to get to the back of this book. There are, I don't know how many pages long this book is. It's not long. It's got 37 chapters.
It's got big type font.
Right.
It's easy to read.
Just read the book. Like this would solve a lot of our problems if people would just read the book. Malik, great to see you. You are probably one of our most regular members of the Velshi Band Book Club for unusual reasons, but we're always happy to have you.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me on again.
Malik Pancholi is an actor, an activist, and the author of 2 books, The Best at It and Nikhil Out Loud.